Remember to do it in 10 or 15-minute chunks.
Stand up straight. Do you see me? I gotta stand up straight. Make sure my zipper's in.
Okay. We're ready.
We are? Okay, remember no backside, no double chin.
Okay, we want to introduce Robin LeRoy-Kyle. She's got two last names. That makes her important.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Thank you very much. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
As Mr. Pollock said, I'm Robin LeRoy-Kyle. Please just call me Robin, and I'm the gal with three boys' names. That's how I always tell people. Best way to remember me, sure. So when you see it in print, it almost looks like Robin LeRoy-Kyle, which really gives me three boys' names. Anyway, this morning we're going to talk a little bit about social media marketing. I understand you are a web design class, correct? Yes, and I understand that's going to be changing to
Web development.
Very, very soon. So changing the name of the animal, maybe a few stripes here and there, not too much, right? All right, so that's going to be good. So tell me first a little bit about you guys before I tell you about me, because I'm more interested in you. How long have you all been in this program? What's going on? Tell me something.
It varies from
Depends on who you ask.
Okay, so you all come in at different times.
Learn at your own pace.
Learn at your own pace. Okay, so who's been in the class the longest, the program the longest? Really? So you're the expert. Okay, so I'm looking to you for the answers. And if I say the wrong thing, don't call me out because I make stuff up. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you've been in the longest. How long have you been here?
A year in March.
A year in March. Wow. Okay, so when do you finish up?
March.
Okay. So it's about a year then? Year-long program. Excellent. How many hours is the web design program?
I have no idea.
1,050.
1,050? Okay. He's going to tell you I should know that since I work downtown, but I don't know that. So, okay, because I'm curious. So y'all, 1,050 hours by the time you finish, so you will have covered lots and lots of content related to web design at that point, right? Okay. Who's the newest in the class? Newest in the class. That's why you're over here. You don't get to sit with them yet? Okay. You're the new kid on the block. Could you guys please be nice to her? Come on. Okay. All right. They'll let you move in, so no worries there.
Yeah, we're actually missing a few too. So.
Are we missing a few?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, this morning, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about social media. You guys can probably teach me just as much as I can share with you this morning. I don't purport to be an expert. I am definitely a social media enthusiast, though. And so we're going to take a look at some marketing because I've been watching it happen over the last couple of years. I can remember when internet addresses first started appearing on magazine covers. Now, I can actually tell you fairly accurately, I believe, when we started seeing the Facebook and the Twitter symbols, the icons, popping up on every single thing. You probably can too, because that's pretty current history. So, so the evolution is definitely happening, and we're going to take a look at what that looks like for you all today. So, in Socialnomics, which is a book, I'm going to show you the site a little bit later this morning, they say social media isn't a fad, it's a fundamental shift in the way we communicate. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah? Yeah. How many of you, by show of hands, have an account on Twitter? On Twitter. Okay, all right. How many of you have an account on Facebook? Okay, interesting. More Facebook than Twitter. Very interesting because we're going to look at some statistics this morning. How many of you have an account on LinkedIn? Wow, more than I expected. Okay, all right, excellent. Adult class, there would typically be more than there might be in a high school class, that sort of thing. But I can tell you at our office downtown, last year that question was asked of our department. There were about 50 of us in the room, and they asked how many on LinkedIn. There were 3 of us, myself included, only 3. And that was a room full of professionals that have been in the business for a long time. Most of them didn't even know what LinkedIn is. So it was very, very interesting. It's very telling. I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to go back and then pose that question to them again very, very soon and see how many more people are on there. I know from the connections, invitations I've been getting lately, more and more of OCPS folks are on there. So we'll have to connect. So definitely. Always good to make those connections. So as I said, I'm Robin LeRoy-Kyle. I'm the gal with 3 boys' names. I am an educator. I am a learning consultant. I'm a blogger. I'm a writer. I do a lot of writing online. And I am a social media enthusiast. As I said, I don't purport to be an expert, but I'm really good at making things up. So there you go. My website's robinlk.com, and you can find me on Twitter. So if you ever want to say hi, that's where we can find each other. And so let's take a look and see what we've got here this morning. couple of numbers to get us started. 600 million. Right? Number of Facebook users as of January 2011. Now what's interesting about this statistic is you can find online that even back in just December, the number was 500 million, which I'm kind of a math idiot, but that tells me that's about 100 million in a month. That to me is striking. What do you guys think? Now y'all are looking around. Do you have a different statistic? Because you're looking around like, where'd you get that number? No? Okay. That's a big jump. If that in fact is accurate data, think about what that says. Facebook users, 100 million in a month's time? Wow. The word is definitely out there. And as you all were raising your hands about who's on which accounts, who has which accounts, there were more Facebook users than Twitter users. So statistically, you do represent the numbers that we're looking at here. Because when we say 200 million, what do you suppose that is?
Twitter.
That is, you are correct. It's the number of Twitter accounts as of December 2010. But interestingly, 110 million tweets per day. Per day. That's a lot of tweets, right? Now, Twitter came on board in early 2006, and I actually brought a book with me today written by Dom Segola that I'll share with you. And he's a very accessible person. He is on Twitter. He was one of the co-founders, along with Biz Stone and a couple of other people, of Twitter. And in the book, 140 Characters, he talks about the evolution of written language and how Twitter fits into that. Very fascinating, because if you think back, our very first written communication in our country was telegraph, right? And it was one or two little words, not too many characters. And then we went into lots and lots and lots of language and huge long expository pieces and narrative essays and so on and so forth. And gosh, what have we done? We have evolved all the way back down to 140 characters. Personally, I like the idea of the brevity of Twitter. If you think about that, brevity meaning very few words. Can you say what you really want to say in 140 characters? That's a challenge. And when I teach writing classes, that's a challenge. Because most folks can't whittle it down. What do? We put too many what in there?
Talk too much.
Yeah, we talk too much. We do. And I can tell you're very quiet because you're sizing up the situation. Robin's got things to say. You're kind of looking at me like, okay, here we go. So I can tell you're one of those quiet ones, but you take it all in. So, so you probably would like Twitter a lot.
Well, quiet until I take it in and look out.
And then, okay, all right. A quiet one that takes it in, analyzes it, and then spits it right back out and gives you what for it. I like that. That's an excellent quality. And that's the thing about Twitter. That's what I like about it, is that truly, if you think about it on Facebook, when you guys do an update to your status, do you go on and on and on and on and on? Some of you do, I can tell by the looks on your faces. Others of you not so much. No. And what do they do on Twitter to help those people that can't shut up?
Cut them off at 140 characters.
They cut them off at 140, but then they came up with a way to extend that 140 and let you go on and say more. I'm like, well, what's the point of that? If you're going to cut us off at 140, cut us off. Bless you. So, thought that was kind of interesting. All right, so some questions to think about, because here's another thing too, as you guys think about web design, web development, and marketing, and what that looks like to you in terms of how you market business out there. The thing I think that's probably most astounding about social media to me is how fast it has blown up and how young it really is. Okay? As short as 2 years ago, someone posted these questions online. Will social media survive, and who will come out on top? 2 years ago they were asking that question. Will it survive? Thinking right now today, I can't even imagine that we would be asking that question. But it was Twitter versus Facebook, and what will it look like? So, with more emphasis on social media marketing, people are always asking, what exactly is social media marketing? Okay? What is it? What is social media marketing to you? What's that mean to you? You guys are the experts. You're in this class. You're learning about it. What can you tell us? Don't be shy.
It's a way to get out there, yourself and your business on the internet,
Okay.
which is growing each day.
Okay. How do you go about it?
You go into places like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, put yourself out there and just tweet as as little as 140 characters to tell you what other people need to know about you.
Okay, so you put it out there, you tell them what they need to know, and you keep talking to them, right? Okay. Any other thoughts about social media, marketing?
Well, it's a way that a business can manage their reputation as well as have feedback coming back as a consumer-generated information. That's a way that I can launch a product, get the feedback prior to it actually going out, then offering it out to the public, discounts, programs, and have surveys. Generated kind of like your consumer reports you get in the mail. Instead of actually having to pay money to have those go out, have people analyze them, you can now have that come in electronic format and be able to keep the consumer, the distributors, and the manufacturers all linked into one central area.
Okay. So I think what I hear you saying is you're able to collect a lot of data electronically and keep people up to date?
And manage the reputation of your business.
Okay, important point.